Hello everyone, my name is Komal Mathur and I am a legal intern at Lexis and Company. I am a law student at Manipal University. I am glad to have this opportunity to intern with Lexis and Company, which is why I am presenting this video in front of you all. The purpose or topic of today's video is the doctrine of separate legal personality. Let us start with a short introduction. A legal person is a person or thing or legal entity that can do things which human can do using law, such as entering into contracts, owning a property, suing someone or being sued, etc. There are two types of legal entity. First is human and second is non-human. In law, human belongs to the category of natural personal, where the other category of non-human person is known as judicial person, which includes corporations, firms, agencies, companies, etc. According to Patten, legal personality is a medium through which some such units are created in whom the rights are vested. It is recognized by both the English and the Indian law. Doctrine of separate legal personality is an important part of company law and represents one of the most fundamental principles of the company law. Now let us know about the doctrine of separate legal personality or entity. The doctrine was founded by the House of Lords in decision of Salmon v. Salmon and Company Limited of 1897, stating that an incorporated company gains a separate legal personality quite distinct from its members, and consequently renders it inter alia capable of bearing its own rights, duties, and obligations. The concept of separate legal personality was further emphasized by Lord Halsbury, who stated that it seems impossible to dispute that one of the companies legally incorporated, it must be treated like any other independent person, with its rights and liabilities appropriate to itself, and that the motives of those who took part in promotion of the company are absolutely irrelevant in discussing whose those rights and liabilities are. There are many more cases after the case of Salmon vs. Salmon and Company Limited of 1897, which upheld the doctrine of separate legal personality. In the Metropolitan Saloon Omnibus Company Limited vs. Hawkins, the case of 1859, decision was given that a company may sue for any defamatory statement if made against it as an independent or separate legal personality. It also included that company can sue even its own member for libel. In Macora vs. North Assurance Company Limited 1925, the court held that the property company has separate legal personality and not to any of its members. The Standard Chartered Bank vs. Pakistan National Shipping Corporation, the case of 2003. The court established that the fraudulent representation found was on its own enough to lift the veil. In this case, the court made clear that liability arose from taking part in fraudulent activities and not as a result of being a director. According to Sir Mason et al., as stated in the letter of his provision, it was evaluated that if an individual related to that particular company offends the person or the company, both can be sued. But in the recent judgment given in the case of Jonas versus Hillard, the architect who was offering his own service under the false description of some known company was held liable, and the liability of company was excluded. Later on, it was held in the case of Farrar versus Farrar Limited in 1888 that a company can enter into transaction with its own members, as the company is a secret legal personality excluding its members, and it have its own duties, rights, and obligations. The most practical benefit and effect of doctrine of separate legal entity is that a company can enter into relationship on its own name and not on its members. It follows that company's conditions of separate legal personality entails that when a company has to act or decide its legal relationship with the real world, it needs human agents. These individuals perform these relationships for the company in its behalf and not in their behalf. Thus, they represent the company as the agents of the company, and the consequence is that these members are not liable for the results of the activities done for the company, but the company is liable for them. This assumption also applies on the relationships between the company which are a part of a group. Therefore, the parent company would never be liable for the subsidiary and vice versa. As a consequence, each one of them own their own rights, duties, and obligations on their own. Now, let us discuss about the significance of the doctrine we discussed about, the doctrine of separate legal personality in international business. Doctrine of separate legal personality is not only an important concept in the domestic trade and market, but also they play a major role in the international market. The national legal personality is a matter of domestic law, while the international legal personality is a matter of international law. When a company is a legal personality, it insulates the individuals participating in its working from a personal liability which may result in the due course of the business. In this way, the company protects its members and employees and generates a revenue which is owned only by the company. The shareholders and the business owners of the company are protected from any kind of liability except those in the limited circumstances. This concept attracts the legal ability to pay taxes to the assigned tax authorities, but pay comparatively less than 5% than what the other individuals pay. The shareholders and the owners are not personally liable for any company debt. Also, they pay tax only for the salary or the profit which they are awarded. Another advantage is that being a separate legal personality makes the company perpetual. That is, even if one of the owners of the company leaves, the company won't dissolve. Moving towards the conclusion of today's discussion, there are several theories to give their theories and different and the contrasting theories in the doctrine of separate legal personality or the doctrine of separate legal entity. Also, there were many scholars and experts who commended and criticized this legal concept. But from the analysis done by me, I can conclude that the concept of separate legal personality, given in the case of Salomon versus Salomon in Company Limited 1897, is of great importance as it imposes rights and duties of non-human person and makes them legal person. This not only benefits the company and corporation but also the shareholders, business owners, employees, workers, and the employers, whosoever is involved in the company, are also benefited. In the case of any dispute, the doctrine of legal personality allows a company to sue or to be sued on its own name. Therefore, the doctrine of separate legal personality is not a vague concept. Also, it is not totally real, but it is not as fully fictitious as well. Thank you. That's it for today. Have a nice day.